Party, the future leaders of the Republic of Ghana, the future Ken Agyapong. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have mentioned his name, I'll be happy if I could have some silence at the back for about 5 minutes before of the keynote speaker. I want to do this solemn thing, and I want the silence of everybody here. About 19 years ago, in the year 2006, 2007, when I was the TASCON president of the University of Cape Coast, I had a major program and invited Honorable Ken Agyapong as the keynote speaker. He came, spoke to us, and after the program, Honorable Ken Agyapong, on this same soil, said, Mr. President, Armstrong Esar, from today, I have adopted you as my godson. Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you in all humility, in all sincerity to join me to say a big thank you and a very heartfelt appreciation to Honorable Ken Agyapong for touching my life. After school, after my national service, Honorable Ken Agyapong made me his special assistant. I worked with him for some years and later made me his general manager for Ash FM. Honorable Ken Agyapong brought me back from Kumasi to Accra and worked for me to be appointed as the head of corporate affairs for Ghana National Service Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, fast forward, in the year 2023, Honorable Ken Agyapong, when he was contesting to be president, looked everywhere and said, Armstrong, I have made you my spokesperson. Come and work with me as my spokesperson. He paid me and gave me a very beautiful car sitting right at the back here. But to finish it all, when I was his general manager in Kumasi managing Ash FM, I was paid handsomely. While I was being paid handsomely, Honorable Ken Agyapong spoke to me again and said, I want to sponsor you to do your masters at KNUST. And I am happy to report that for the 2 years, at the time it was 2 years, for the 2 years I did my MBA, Honorable Ken Agyapong took the full cost of my MBA. On this note, Honorable Ken Agyapong, it was on this same soil that you picked me. And I look up on this same soil. I say everything I am. I don't know, but if there is life after this life, where we are supposed to select our bosses and our godfathers will serve, Honorable Ken Agyapong, I will gladly choose you again as my godfather and my boss. I am most grateful and God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I'm going to be very snappy with his introduction. In the world of entrepreneurship and business, Honorable Ken Agyapong, you know already that he's a mogul. He's a highly successful entrepreneur, a highly successful businessman, a highly successful industrialist with over 45 years of business experience. Ladies and gentlemen, in the world of media, you know already that Honorable Ken Agyapong is the owner Limited, operators of Asha FM, Oman FM, Netuna Radio, and several others. Ladies and gentlemen, he still again has a manufacturing companies he has. I am proud to mention once again that Honorable Ken Agyapong is the owner of Ashanti Steel. Listen to this, the first Ghanaian-owned and the largest one-man steel company in the whole of Africa, valued over $100 million. A big round of applause for him. Ladies and gentlemen, in the field of cold storage, Honorable Ken Agyapong is the owner of the largest cold stores in the whole of Africa, with the combined capacity of over 61 metric tons. A big round of applause for him. He is always driven by his passion to create 61,000 metric tons. Thank you for the correction. Thank you. He is always driven by the passion to create jobs. And as a result, he has curated over 7,000 works. He has employed over 7,000 workers in Ghana and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not lost on me to mention that you will be receiving a stalwart of our tradition, whose activism predates the formation of the new patriotic party. Honorable Ken Agyapong is an astute politician, and I am happy to mention that he's a true NPPN. He is a founding member of the Dankwa Busia Dombo Club, formed in 1991, which gave birth to our beloved New Patriotic Party in 1992. I am happy to mention again that Honorable Ken Agyapong is a founding member of our beloved New Patriotic Party. He did not join the New Patriotic Party. He formed part of the people who established the New Patriotic Party. Ladies and gentlemen, this is important. In 1992, the then Keynote was the stronghold of the NDC. 1996, it was the stronghold of NDC. But in the year 2000, a certain man, Honorable Ken Agyapong, contested the then Keynote parliamentary seat and won it for the first time in the history of that constituency for the New Patriotic Party. Ladies and gentlemen, in the year 2004, he contested and he won. In the year 2008, he contested, he won. In the year 2012, he contested, he won. In the year 2016, he contested, he won. In the year 2020, he contested and he won. 24 solid years of unbroken parliamentary service. This is the man we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man we are talking about. And I am convinced that he is the second longest member of parliament ever in the history of. As we prepare to receive him, the whole world celebrates him as a philanthropist. Young man was asked how he got to know Honorable Ken, and he said that 15 years ago he had an admission. He didn't have money to pay for the admission, so he went to Parliament to seek sponsorship from Honorable Ken. And for the first time in his life, this happened 15 years ago, but the story was told us last week. The guy said that for the first time of seeing Honorable Ken, he told him his request. And Honorable Ken Agyapong looked him in the face, put his hand into his pocket, and gave out every money in his pocket for the man to go and pay his fees. Today, that man is a PhD holder. A big hand of applause for Honorable Ken Agyapong. Ladies and gentlemen, the world celebrates him as the father for the fatherless, the hope for the hopeless, the voice for the voiceless, the philanthropist. He's a leader you can trust. Ladies and gentlemen, patriotic, honest, disciplined, bold, fearless. Let's put our hands together to welcome Honorable Ken Agyapong with a special performance from the ATM. Thank you.
Atlantic Road, little motivation, 5,000. On behalf of Commitment. Thank you very much. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank the FESCON executives for organizing such a wonderful event. Thank you once again. Before I speak, I need to talk about my observation. And I hope my colleague politicians here have also taken note. The excitement, the joy in this youth is giving us a message that they need a leader who will give them hope. And from today onwards, I say to my fellow politicians, be an NDC member, MPP, CPP, I say to you, we cannot fail the youth anymore. Honorable members of Parliament, distinguished party executives, members of the faculty of UCC, patrons of TESCOM executives, and students of UCC, all protocol observed. Indeed, it's a great honor to be called upon. A man born in that village where there was no electricity, no water, and education was for the rich. And today, a poor soul like Ken Agyapong, born at Afenyo, stand before this august audience. Indeed, it is not my fault or effort endowed with a lot of talents and opportunities. By the grace of God, I have life to speak to such an august audience. I say thank you to Almighty God for giving me this potential and the charisma to speak to people and they listen. I thank you, God. I've been asked to do a simple task to talk about entrepreneurship. But the speakers before me have made justice to it. But I'm pushed and tempted again because some of the speakers kept mentioning what I've been saying. I wanted to avoid that today, but I will briefly brush on it and use other methods that entrepreneurs need in life. Who is an entrepreneur? Some people say that entrepreneurs are born. It is not true. Entrepreneurs are made. You can learn from me. You can learn from other entrepreneurs. And if you challenge yourself, you one day also become an entrepreneur. So young men and women, students here, and say to yourself, one day I'm going to be an entrepreneur and it shall come to pass. Why is it that of late colleges and universities are inviting me to speak on entrepreneurship? It is indeed an indication that if Ghana is going to develop, we need entrepreneurs. We've had intellectuals, they've taught us in school. We've done a lot of academic exercise, which is perfect. That is what we need. Without education, most of us will not get anywhere. But the other aspect that will make you an entrepreneur is the pragmatic approach. Practical ones that we need to take. And I believe that is why I've been invited here. Because I saw my beautiful lady, the doctor, speaking, and she said, I picked it. As usual, she had written a thesis to come and speak on entrepreneurship. But speakers before her probably made it easier and decided to change the way she was going to talk. I will do justice to entrepreneurship by using myself as an example. I believe that is why most of you want to hear or listen. I want to challenge you today and say it after me, that coming here today, I'm going to be one of the change makers in this country. Say, I'm going to be a change maker in this country. I'm going to be a change maker in this country. Don't just say this, and when you walk out of this room, you forget. Say it, challenge yourself, work at it, and one day you'll be better than Ken Agyapong. Why are you going to be better than Ken Agyapong? The answer is simple. Ken Agyapong did not get the opportunity where successful people, successful businessmen, entrepreneurs will come to him and share their personal experiences with him for him to learn from it. But in your case, we've had speakers here. I'm surprised Honorable Afenyo-Markin did not talk about his beginning. He would have loved it. He was being modest. And he has also gone through the ranks to get to where he is. He should have told you the story of approaches for you to see how he struggled, even at the university, just as you are here. He started writing approaches series when he was in the University of Science and Technology. I think that is what they need from you, to inspire them, for them to know that they can also be successful businessmen. But next time when you have the opportunity, the theory, you should leave it behind and share your personal experiences with them to motivate them to take their destiny into their own hands, to give them hope that one day they are also going to be like. The topic is entrepreneurship. How are you going to be an entrepreneur? It's not going to come easy. Start, but with determination, you'll be able to do it. You are here as students. Parents, when you are coming, give you money to spend for the semester. If you want to be like Honorable Afenyo-Markin, begin to have a vision. A vision. You look into the future and say to yourself, this is what I want to be in the next 5-10 years. When you challenge yourself and work seriously, you'll be able to get there. Life is not going to be easy. Anybody who tells you that life is going to be easy is not telling you the truth. I share a personal experience with you. I think somewhere November 2024, a gentleman came to me and asked me, Honorable, so have you failed in business before? I said, yes. I said, wow. I thought we have never encountered challenges. I said, no. I've encountered challenges, but I will make sure that did not cause my downfall for good. I fell and rise up, and fell, rise up, I fell, rise up for about 3 times before things stabilize. So it's not going to be easy. Now let me give you the models. This is Ken Agyapong's theory, my experience. After that, I'll share the academic one with you. What you have to do as a student is that begin to save the little money you have for a better future. Postpone spending on material things today and save the money for tomorrow. Sacrifice. There will be a lot of temptations. Young men and women here, we are all from different homes. Some from rich background, some from poor background, like where I started. When you see a colleague wearing beautiful clothes, do not be fascinated with the good clothes and force yourself to go and use your lender, I call it lender of last resort, money that has been given to you to also go and buy a nice clothes. You are keeping up with the Joneses. You don't need to keep up with the Joneses. Be yourself. Money will accumulate, and that becomes your capital. When you have this capital, then I borrow my doctor's word, risk. You begin to take risk. What she was saying, and Honorable Stephen Andrew also said it, in simply put, the future belongs to the risk takers, not security seekers. The future belongs to the risk takers, not security seekers. The risk takers are those who are bold to take decisions that, look, enough is enough. Working for government for paycheck is enough. I'm going to establish my own business. You begin to save towards it. So when you have accumulated capital, then you take the risk to invest in any business that you have done proper survey and investigations, and you think indeed that is the kind of business you want to do. The security seekers are those who are afraid to take risk. That is where the fear comes in. Those security seekers are the ones who will buy treasury bills, and at the end of the month take what because he is afraid to invest the capital that he has, and therefore he wants somebody to manage it. If people are going to manage your resources for you, I'm afraid you cannot get up there. That is why I say that the future belongs to risk takers and not security seekers. Buying stocks is good, treasury bills is good, but it's not good enough to let you create your own business. So it's important that you take the risk, and after the risk, you invest. I hope you are writing. You invest. That is what I call investment. You use the capital to take risk and invest. And when you invest, you need to work hard. Work hard to make sure your investment do not go waste. Some people set up shops, boutiques. When they finish setting up the boutique, they give to some workers to work for them and they save their day. What they tend to forget is that even your customers, the way you talk to them is not the same as your workers, the way they will talk to customers. So when you stay at your comfort room, the amount of money you're supposed to get a week, a month, will not be the same. You can experiment it and see. Stay at your shop for 1 month and leave the shop 1 month for your shopkeeper and see the difference. So you need to work hard, sacrifice your life And when you sacrifice your life today, tomorrow will be a better day for you. I was talking to a lady in Sunyani, and she said, look, her classmates even don't want to come to her. Why? Because they think she's rich. And her story is that she started working with the mother at Sunyani Market. Then after university, she continued her mother's business, and now she has about 3 shops. So if she goes to lunch with her friends, she pays, and now they are not comfortable. It is you, the individual, the way you perceive life, that will determine your success in future. You have to aim big, think big, and dream big, and the sky is the limit. You got to challenge yourself. Savings and investment will never grow without honesty. Honesty is key to success. You need to be honest in your dealings with every businessman you encounter. When you are sincere, the world goes wrong because the world is small, global world. If you dupe me today, you dupe a second person, trust me, the third person will get to know. But if you are honest, I will share my experience with other people, and companies will be knocking at your door to work with you or to give you more transactions. So with all this, honesty is key to success. Without honesty, your hard-earned money, your sweat, you lose all. So please, whatever you are doing, just be honest and be sincere. And one day, some people will also come to you for advice. Let me give you the 7 qualities. Today, my topic will be about 7 determinants of business success. 7 determinants of business success. But my colleagues keep referring to the 7 qualities. Not on our side. 7 qualities of an entrepreneur or a leader. 1 is vision. 2, courage. 3, integrity. 4, light. 5, humility. 6, focus. And 7, cooperation. These are the 7 qualities of a leader or an entrepreneur. At an appropriate or another time, when we have ample time, I'll go into details one by one, all the 7 qualities. Today, I want to talk about 7 determinants of business success. The first one is productivity. Productivity. Every business is subject to the laws of economics. What is the law of economics or the laws of economics? It's simple. The ultimate goal of a business activity is to maximize profit. That is, when the revenue exceeds cost. When your revenue exceeds cost, and it means bottles an hour and you produce 500 bottles an hour, the consumption of electricity is the same. And therefore, your cost of production, because you are same amount as 1,000 bottles a company is producing, obviously your cost of production is going to be expensive. If it happens that like that, many a times the large or big industries knock the small businesses out because of cost. So you should make sure in production your cost to customer satisfaction. You have to ensure that customers are satisfied with your product. How are you going to determine that customers are satisfied with your product? The sign is simple. When they repeatedly come for that product, it means they have confidence in that product. But if they come today and tomorrow they ask for another product, it means that particular product you are producing, they don't like the quality. And if you don't do anything about it, when the customers are giving you signs, you should also feel free to ask them questions. Are you satisfied with this product? How do you think it should be done? Do I need to improve it? If you get this information from your customers, then you can also improve on your product to give them what they need. So when they begin to come there and they demand the same product, it means they are satisfied with the production. And the satisfaction of the production will increase your revenue because they will constantly come to you and purchase what you have. If they are not satisfied with it, they will be reluctant to come and buy your product. And if you produce 5,000 and they are stuck, how are you going to make the money? So customer satisfaction is very, very important. That is why sometimes even the way you receive people, the way you talk to them, will make them come back again to you and say, oh, this madam is so respectful. That alone will increase your sales. So customer satisfaction is very, very important. We talk of an entrepreneur taking a risk. It's not just taking a risk, he also wants to make money. So profit, what I call profitability. The law of concentration says that whatever you dwell upon grows in your experiences. Whatever you dwell upon grows in your experiences. Aim is to maximize profit. So to maximize profit, you should focus. You will make that is a bit. They might come the first do that. I'm afraid to accept and say that. And you see the kind of. Meanwhile, all these years, there is not a single in the north. This shea butter, whatever they call it, this tree survives 365 days others get dry during the dry season. We need innovative ideas. We need creative minds to come up with this idea. So you cannot be doing the old things and expect. You have to accept to innovate yourself, innovate your business, your organization. It is important. If not, you'll be left behind. Sixth, organizational development, simply put, in any organization, you can restructure, re-engineer, and reinvent. Organizational structure, you can reinvent, re-engineer, and restructure. Restructure, you can have the same workers, and you can shift them around. You can also use what is called 80-20 policy, where you can have few people, you give them assignment to work and increase production to the extent that the results or the revenue generated is from only 20% of your workers. We call it 80-20. You use 20% of your workers to generate 80% of your income. If it happens like that, it means your. So it's important that you always restructure your company, re-engineer it, and reinvent. If not, again, with modern technology, you will left. And the last one is save people. You have to build people. How do you build people? I took over a company somewhere in March. Around. I felt so bad for the Ghanaian workers. What was happening? Oh, they have tolerated such management for so long. I took over. I was going around and I saw a bathroom, and the workers are 335, and they use 6 bathrooms. The place was so filthy and stinking, deplorable state, and just by the toilet they have their canteen. I said, what? If it was a Ghanaian company, you'd have called the media. And somebody told me that he has worked with the company for 35 years. To a party to the workers to introduce myself to them that I'm the new owner. I invited the old owner or the former owner to be present. And they were shocked that for 35 years, the old owner had never even organized just a simple lunch for them before. So when I had lunch with them, I went through their salaries and said, no human being can live on 540. How mean can you be? I double. And you know, building the people, when I doubled their salaries, the following month, my revenue went up by 27%. So your relationship with your workers, how you respect them, you accord them with respect, you encourage them, you motivate them, self-esteem. Trust me, these your workers will never leave you. They work wholeheartedly to make sure your company also grows. So building people, if you are mean to your people, can you believe that when I took over, I had to go to my hometown and get about 40 guys to come to Tema to work, and I had to release one of my houses for them to stay. Because he was not paying them well, he did not get the people to work for him. But as I speak, those who left the company are now begging to come back. So if you want results and profit, you should know how to build your people. Again, you talk about network. What we are doing here today is networking. You only have to be bold to take numbers, call, approach those up here, take their numbers, call them. Armstrong gave a story. I picked him or identified him from here as ESCOM president 19 years ago. And here we are still working together. It can be you too. So don't be shy. Your success is determined by your looks. Success is determined by your courage. So if you are coward to approach Honorable Ken Agyapong, I'm afraid you are not going to get connected. You are not going to get connected. Be bold and approach people. Those you know, they are up there. And sometimes, consistency, if you really need something,